This is my Android and ESP32 based MSLA printer prototype. Yes, it's just a prototype, but look, it prints as any other MSLA printer. It makes a layer, a lot more stuff to do, but it prints. The total cost for the prototype till now is only $48 because I bought the tablet from a second-hand store for only $20. It has a 2K resolution and a 10-inch display. So let me show you how I ripped off the LCD display from the tablet. Also have connected electronics for the UV light, for the step motor, the sensor and everything else. I will show you the 3D design, how I've printed and how to assemble everything. So if this seems interesting to you, stay till the end of the video, and that being said, let's get started.
Do you want professional PCBs like these ones that look so good? Then use the services of PCBWay. You can select the board size, any solder mask color that you want, including some exotic purple, or if you want, the matte black and green. You can select the thickness, and the PCB could be from 2 up to 14 layers for some more complex designs. The finish quality is so good, and if you want better connectivity, you could also select the gold finish for your pads. The ordering process is so easy. Just go to PCBWay.com, quote now, insert your design settings and the amount of PCBs, upload the Gerber files, and order now and receive the PCBs in just a couple of days.
What's up my friends, welcome back. So the final idea of this project is in the end to make a professional PCB like this one and order it as always at PCBWay, as I did with my previous MSLA printer with Arduino. But for now, since this is just a prototype and I'm still making tests, I've used a normal drilled PCB for all the connections. And yeah, till I make the PCB, let's actually start from the beginning. In the previous video, I've already shown you how to send the pictures from the SD card with an ESP32 to an Android device. So go and watch that video to learn more and to understand how this will work. Okay, so now that you understand that part, the next part was to buy a cheap Android tablet and rip off the screen. In my case, it's like 25 cm width, so it's a quite big screen. Once I had my tablet, I first made some tests to see if the app still works with the ESP32, and if that worked, I start disassembling the screen, and usually this is glued all around with some rubbery glue, which will dissolve with alcohol. So using plastic tools, alcohol and some hot air gun, I've carefully took out the screen without breaking it. I did not care if I bended the metal case because we don't need it. Just carefully take out the screen and then remove the flexible connector. So we'll have a screen on one side and then the Android tablet with the battery on the other side. Once we had the screen, we had to remove the backlight because we don't use it, which is this part here, and also because the UV light must pass through the screen and it won't pass through metal. So we have to remove all these layers. So I started by removing the tape all around the screen, then remove all these layers, which are some polarizing layers, and for the backlight to be focused onto the screen, which we don't need. So we remove all that, and at some point I've even took a flashlight, connected back the screen to the tablet and placed it below to see if it works, and it did work. So yeah, I made sure that it works, and also in the end we'll finally clean this because it's now full of smudges because I'm making tests. But yeah, now we should have the screen. Okay, now we should have the screen so we can start assembling the printer. Okay, so the first part will be to assemble the entire case that I've designed. As you can see, since the case is quite huge for the screen, I've made it in multiple parts so you could print it on any 3D printer. And then when we assemble it, we pass to the electronic parts, and I will show you what we have for that. The only thing that will change might be this part here, because this is made to be compatible with my screen, but the rest is the same for any other printer that you make. So if you're using a different tablet, maybe smaller, you should change this part here, just get it in Blender, make it smaller to fit your screen, because this is the one that will fit with the screen, and then it will fit on top of the machine. As you can see, it should go like that, and the screen should be flat with the 3D printed part. So if you're using a different screen, this perimeter should be smaller or bigger depending on the screen that you're using. First step of assembling is to add insertion nuts on all the holes on the perimeter of the case. Now there are a lot of them, so you'll see in the design, you'll have the links below for all the holes that you have to add an insertion nut, and then add the screw. So yeah, I will use my soldering iron to add this. Now that we have the insertions, we have to make this perimeter with these 4 parts, and later we'll add screws to this, and that will add more strength. But to even improve the connection, as you can see, we have some holes here and I have some carbon fiber rods. So I will just feed them here, and we won't use any kind of glue, just feed them for support and for keeping them in place. So I will cut this, merge them together, and once I have all these holes, as you can see here, filled with these rods, then I'll use some screws to get them connected to these parts here. Now we have more or less the top part of the printer, so now we have to flip it and once again use screws and merge these parts together like this, which is the bottom part of the printer. Okay, so now I have the main case and I have to say it's quite strong with all the screws and all the supports. I don't even have to use glue. So now we flip it like this on the side and I've let this hole here because I'm not sure what I will add here, the connectors, and another hole on the front because I'm not sure what kind of screen I will place. So that leaves me the opportunity to design any kind of, a plate for the screen. So now the back plate, which is kind of ugly because it was printed with supports, but this is what will hold the Z-axis. It will go like here, and as you can see we have a bunch of screws, and the other part it will go below here with another set of screws. So let's just do that. Okay, now the back part is added. I haven't added all the screws because it's not necessary yet, but now we have two more sides. One goes here, the other one goes here, and as you can see it has a perimeter here because later we'll add some sort of protective case on top of it, which will be transparent but also UV protective, so light from outside won't enter and damage the parts. So yeah, let's add this. Okay, so I have the main case. I don't have the bottom because on the bottom is where I'll place the LEDs and the microcontroller and so on, so I still have to design and decide where to place each thing. But now I have the main case, so we have to add the motor, the end switch here for the Z-axis and the screen. And once we have that, we flip it and then we add the electronics. Oh, and by the way, we also have to add the rail here. And yeah, by the way, since the screen is the most fragile part, I will leave it at the end, but this is how it will go. But then I will add some black tape here so it won't reflect the light. But yeah, this is how it will go. So since I have to add mechanical parts that could damage the screen, I've just cleaned it. I'll leave this for the end, so I can just take it out. And this is the place where the iPad will go because we still need the iPad, and this is the connector for the screen, and later we'll connect it. But as you can see, the USB connector will go there, so I bought this kind of adapter, which basically spins 180 degrees. So you just plug this into the iPad, and then it's not an iPad, it's a tablet. This will go to the ESP32. And this is seen from the top. As you can see, it will stay on this side, and it won't bother the light or the screen. So all we have to do is later connect it to the connector here. Which, by the way, I also bought some extensions if the cable won't reach there. So this is just an extension for the cable that the LCD already has. And if you wonder how I'll turn on the tablet once it's inside of the case, well, we have this connector strip here, and as you can see below, it has 4 connectors. So I'm guessing that one is ground and the other one is up, down, and the on button. So I'll just solder some wires to this connector here and then add an external button, or maybe just connect it to the ESP32, and it will be the ESP that will turn on the tablet or not. So yeah, just solder wires to these 4 connectors. As you can see, I've soldered 4 wires here with different colors, so I know which one is which. I'll take a photo of this. So now I can place this inside and later have the control of the buttons. Now I have the tablet in place. I have the connector with the USB that will go to the ESP, and I had to cut a hole here because the connector is too big, so I could close it like this. Now I've added in place the slider on the Z-axis with some screws, and now I'll add the stepper motor right here with 4 screws. Okay, the motor is in place, and this sensor will go just below here, and using 2 screws we add it in place. Okay, now that the case is ready and looks quite good, it's time to make the electronics part. And as you can see here, I have some of the parts. Maybe we'll have some more, but I'll try to make a full part list below once the project is ready. But obviously we need a power supply. Now everything here will work at 3.3 or 5 volts, but I will use a 12 volts power supply because the step motor works at that voltage, so I will just add a regulator for the low voltage part, which is this one. We need the ESP32 and the SD card reader for controlling the pictures. Now this is the UV light, and this one works at 220 volts. So the same input that goes to the supply, I will control that with an SSR, a solid state relay. I have the controller here, the driver for the step motor, and my screen, which will get connected to the tablet that we already have there. I will probably add some fans, but for now I won't connect them because this will be just a prototype. Once I know everything that will go and where it will go, I'll try to find a place here to add a fan for cooling everything inside, or also maybe a fan here to take out the smell of the resin. So yeah, let me just think where to place all this and fit it inside. And by the way, extra to the controller hardware, we'll also need some sort of a user interface. So here I'll 3D print another, that's why I've left this with a hole, because I will 3D print another part, because I'm not sure what kind of screen I will use. Maybe this is quite common with the old printers. I like to use this one because it's very easy to use, but it's quite small. And the best option would be this one, but this is a little bit more and will complicate a little bit more the code, but it will give you like a better user interface because you can use it with colors and so on. So we'll have some push buttons, the screen, so you can select which file you want to print, the print percentage, and so on. So this will be for later. Since I'm not sure where to place each of the component, the bottom part is made out of balsa wood for now, so I will take decision where to place each part. This will be exactly below the screen, but the rest of it will be here, and I'll try to make a cover for the light, maybe we'll add a Fresnel lens. So once I will know that, I will redesign only the bottom place and it will get screwed in the holes that the case already has. So for now, I'll work on top of this wood. I've made markings here on the wood where everything will go. Place the light here, the power supply here, and also the relay here, so it will be close. And then the connector for the main input, it will be on that hole there. And then I'll have the driver here with the ESP32, and the SD card, it will be with wires because I have to connect that on the outside so I could be able to add the SD card. And that should be all. And then I have the wire from the tablet and the USB connector that will go to the ESP32. So yeah, I will use some glue and screws, add this here, and then connect everything. Okay, so I soldered the PCB that will go here. And as you can see, it has the ESP32, it has the SD card driver module, it has a driver for the step motor. This is the 12 volts input. This is a bus converter for 5 volts, bus and buck converter, regulator. And these are all the connections. Now we should also add the buttons, the buzzer, and the OLED display. But for the first test, I won't have the display. I've already told you that that will go on a separate PCB that will go here on the front. And for now, the control will be used with software and USB. So yeah, it will go here, and I'll have to connect with these two connectors, the blue one and the red one, as you can see there. I'll connect, the blue one will be connected to the MOSFET, and the red one will be connected to the end stop switch, which is the switch that we have right there on the case. Now the PCB is in place, it has no code yet. I only tested to see if I can turn on with the relay the LEDs for the UV light, and as you can see it works. And I've also made this out of cardboard. Actually, if this would work, I'll make it out of plastic and 3D print it, but this will go on top of this. So it also has like some reflective tape on top of it. And I would also like to add a Fresnel lens and decide the height of it, so it will centrate the power of the LEDs more towards the screen. So I'll make some tests with that, and obviously once the prototype I know that it works, it will be a 3D design and just place it on top of it and don't have to make it out of cardboard. I will also install a normal addressable LED all around the perimeter, around the screen, because I realized that when I want to use the screen for the settings without the UV light turned on, you won't be able to see anything because now the screen has no backlight. So I'll place the LED here, and now the ESP32 will control that light, so when I'm in settings mode, it would just turn on the white light LED or any other color so I could see something on the screen. Now I have the ESP32 connected here, and I had a prototype board outside because I'm making tests. I'm entering the app. It says open port. So okay, and as you can see it says connecting to Wi-Fi. There you have the IP address. And now it's homing, but I'll have to touch the sensor with something because I don't have the Z motor connected. So it's homed and it's loading the... So that's an error. The UV light should be off till I load the page. I'll add a small delay there, but I have my layers now. Let me just take out my phone because I used the flashlight. And as you can see, the UV light is controlled and we get the layers. So guys, here I have it printing. You can see the layer here. I still have to make some adjustments because as you can see here, sometimes the LED turns on before the website is being loaded. But yet we have the layers here, and I also have the connections here. I had the connection for the stepper motor, but I had to disconnect it because I'm still making like a testing for the prototype and the motor was going backwards. But right now I'm able to control the UV light and print the layers. And these are the layers from the 3D file that I've sliced. As you can see, it's going layer by layer. And if I were to have a bed here with the resin and also the Z-axis, obviously, this should be printing the part. Pretty nice. You actually can see how the layer is changing because the difference between the layers is very different. We have more than 1,000 layers for this print. But I'll try to record a long video and then play it fast for you, so you'll see how the layer is changing, and between each layer we have a pause and then the light, and then this should go up, but right now the motor is not connected. But yeah, that's how the MSLA printer should work. I've also tried to connect the push button of the Android tablet to the ESP32, but it was giving some errors, so for now I have a button here. As you can see, it's a push button. I push it and I can control the screen. So guys, I will divide this video in 2 videos because it's kind of late right now. I can't finish this today, and I've been working at this for like more than a month and a half because I had the Christmas and New Year holiday in between. And making tests with this was not that easy as I imagined. I had a lot of errors, and the most difficult part is to synchronize the communication between the Android tablet and the ESP32, because when you are using just the ESP32 with the TFT display, you are sure that when you send the picture to the TFT display, it will be printed. But in this case, you have to load the file and then you have to get like a refresh or a notification from the Android tab that it read the file from the website. So you have to have a communication in both ways and make sure that each of the system is in sync. And that's the difficult part, but it works. So now I'll have to work on the Z-axis. I really like the case, and then I'll have to make a small case here and add the OLED display, which I've used in the previous project. It's quite great. It's small, just to show the percentage and which file is being printed, and then make a menu. So with some buttons, you can select the folder that you want to select from the SD card and print it on your printer. I will share all the files with you below, and if you like this project, please comment something below if you want to improve it and what new idea you have about this project. So guys, here I am in my workshop, another video that ended. I hope that you like it, and the most important part, I hope that you have learned something new. Anyway, I just wanted to give a thank you to all my patrons, to you guys, to the viewers who are supporting me, liking my content, sharing it, commenting below. Just check my website, check my shop, check my t-shirts. All this kind of stuff will support my channel. So thank you very much once again.